My name is Jacob, the guy who usually shows you around haunted asylums and creepy woods. But tonight is different. We're diving into a story so unsettling, I've been wrestling with the idea of sharing it at all. It all began when Gary, an old geologist buddy of mine, reached out. He was buzzing with excitement, claiming he'd stumbled upon an untouched cave that was shrouded in mystery. The way he pitched it, you'd think we were on the cusp of unveiling Atlantis itself. Given our adventurous spirits, mine, Emma's, and Nick's, it was an offer we simply couldn't refuse. We were captivated. We had to be the pioneers. We arrived. We got to the cave, its gaping entrance like an invitation and a warning all at once. As we put on our harnesses and checked our equipment, I couldn't shake this gnawing feeling of unease. Maybe it was because I'd never actually descended into a cave by rope before. Heck, the closest I'd come to caving was watching documentaries on TV. Emma, Gary, and Nick seemed at ease, especially Gary, who was managing the ropes. The cave's entrance looked like an open, hungering mouth in the earth. We'd been exploring for about 10 minutes, our flashlights casting eerie shadows on the cave walls as we moved deeper and deeper. The atmosphere grew heavier, and that bad feeling I had earlier, it was multiplying, turning into an almost physical pressure against my chest. That's when Gary, who was leading us, paused and turned back to face us. "Listen, I've seen this narrow passage up ahead before, but I've never actually gone down it," he said, his voice tinged with caution. "Something seems off about it. Can't put my finger on it, but we should be extra careful moving forward." His warning did nothing to quell my unease. In fact, it amplified it. Emma and Nick exchanged uneasy glances too, but we all nodded in agreement. Ignoring that voice in my head screaming at me to turn back, we followed Gary towards the unsettling path that lay ahead. It was at that moment that we all stumbled upon something deeply unsettling. We saw animal bones laying everywhere, even human skulls, but it was like they'd been deliberately arranged. And then there were these red prints on the walls, just smeared there. A bad feeling gnawed at me, urging me to turn back. But you have to understand, my team had the experience and equipment for the climb back. I couldn't just bail. I had to press on, despite every instinct telling me not to. Naive, I know. And then there was that smell, like putrefying meat mingled with something older, something primordial. At this point, Nick broke the silence. "Guys, I really think we should head back now." "Wait a sec," Gary interjected. "There's a narrow tunnel up ahead. Let's just check that out real quick, then we can go back." Against our gut feelings, we pressed on. There was this narrow tunnel, the kind you have to suck in your gut to get through. As we pressed on, we started to hear these faint, odd noises from above us, like something was skittering or maybe crawling around. It was unsettling, to say the least. The sounds grew progressively louder as we moved deeper into the cave. I could see something shifting in the shadows way up ahead. It was elusive, but definitely there. Gary was leading the pack, and I was right on his heels when he suddenly froze. "I just saw something," he warned in a low, tense voice. And that's when it came into my view as well. This abomination that darted across our path. Imagine a human, but stretched and contorted, as if its very skin were a prison. "We need to get out of here now," Gary yelled. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. We all broke into a sprint, our heartbeats nearly deafening in our ears. My flashlight flickered, nearly giving out, and the walls of the cave seemed to tighten around us as if trying to trap us in. The unanimous agreement was clear without a word being said. Get to the surface, and fast. And for the love of God, don't look back. Gary acted quickly, ushering us toward the ropes. As we fumbled with the equipment, this haunting roar reverberated from the depths of the cave. It sounded almost as if some monstrous entity had just awoken. The noise seemed to climb the walls, getting closer, sending shivers down our spines. "Hurry up!" Gary yelled as we scrambled to ascend the ropes. We made it back to the surface, but we were different, haunted. What the hell was that? We kept asking each other. No one had an answer, and no one suggested going back to find out. The unanimous decision was unspoken, but clear. We're never returning to that cave.